छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमान देखो झूमता गगन
Oh, music's off. Hello, hello, hello. We're in the process of doing our sage. Kathy just left the room. And, she's always got to get her butt massage in before we begin. She did. She got her rub down. Yes. It is Saturday night. Can you hear me? It is Saturday night, and it is October 19th. I always have to check the date because I don't know about anybody else, but are y'all feeling the sun and the angle with the sun and Pluto, that square, and Mars trining Neptune all at the same time? So Mars trine Neptune is a little funky because it's Neptune, and it has the ability to kind of make Mars, the physical body, a little bit more sluggish. I know I'm getting really cold super easily, and we've already had colder weather than we're having today and yesterday. And it's just it's a different kind of cold. Don't even know how to anyway, it's just weird me. And then, I don't know. I'm sure you all feel it, right? The difference in the energy level, although I see Christy's like a mad hatter over there. She's busy creating like a like the creative beast queen that she is. I think I saw. Yeah. Yeah. She's finishing up on a ball gown. Hello. Christy says hello, starlings. Let me check and make sure that everything is working. There were some weird things in the StreamYard again. So hopefully everything's okay and working normal. At least for you guys, hopefully you can hear me. I had to try to mess around with the microphone a little bit. And if I turn it up, that's the reason using a microphone like this. Well, there's multiple reasons, but for me, when I start talking about the astrology sometimes and my voice gets really boomy and big, like I crack all the microphones that I've used. Like you can hear it in the sound, it cracks. So I had to get something better. However, if I get something super, super better, because even this microphone, I can only turn it up halfway because it'll give you a readout. You can see, like without talking, I can see if I'm picking up like ambient noises, and it does. It'll pick up like my next door neighbors are having like a pre-Halloween party this weekend or whatever. And so they're out in the back barbecuing, and it's like 9:30 at night, but they're adults, right? So who knows? So I had to turn it down, and I'm just like, okay. So again, hopefully y'all, let me see if I can see if you can hear and see you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Fairy there and Lou S. Yes. Yeah, Christy, I do want to do ghost stories. I'm just going to be straight up with y'all. My brain, even though Mercury is in front of the sun, I don't feel like my brain is working properly. I guess it's the sun squaring the Pluto and the Mars being, I just feel like, I've still done readings and stuff, but I kind of feel like, I'm like, what is wrong with my Mercury right now? I'm struggling. So, yes, Fairy there. That's right. But even with those really good microphones, well, I guess it depends. But I don't have like a soundproof room, and And I've tried lots of other microphones. So anything that's on the cheaper side of what I already use doesn't work for me because I crack the microphone. It just can't handle when my voice gets, yeah, when I'm really into what I'm talking about, it destroys it. And I've multiple ones. But if you have recommendations, you could always let me know and then I can see what's what. So, um, yeah, I would like to do ghost stories. It would be a nice, would be a nice break. Everyone looks like they're passing tonight, which is, yeah, it gives me a little more of a break, which is great. Absolutely. So last week, we had someone here. Oh, I didn't even say hello to everyone. Christy, hello. Lou S, hello. My bad. Haffers made it. Haffers is here. What's up, Haffers? How the heck are you doing over there? Lou S, am I reading the shit right? Am I reading um the temperature shit right? It was like not even 70 degrees yesterday in Arizona. Was that right? I was like, is my mercury this off? Like, how can Arizona be colder like today? I think you guys, according to Weather Channel, I think you guys were warmer than our temperatures today. Is that right? I was like, yeah, it was one of those trippy things where I'm like, when the hell is Illinois warmer than Arizona? I don't know. So, is that true? Are you all having cool weather? Yeah, let's do ghost stories for sure. Do you have some fairy there? I wanna hear your guys' ghost stories. I mean, I hate talking about stuff that I've been through because I really feel like I don't know. I just I don't know, there's something about it that I don't know. I don't know, because mine aren't I don't know, mine are different. They're not like, I don't know how to explain it. They're just different. They're different, at least from my perspective, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. Me? Never. No way, Jose. But yeah, we started talking about cults last weekend. Um, there's a few different freaky kind of paranormal, haunting type of stuff that we were discussing last weekend. And I right away got to work and did some homework. I did pull up Jim Jones's chart, and I have seen it before, and I knew I had seen it before because right away Taurus came into my head, and I was just like, creepy chart. And it probably doesn't look creepy right off the bat, but once you start like looking at, you're just like, oh, geez, right? No wonder. And then I did a little reading up on anyway his mom and just yikes. So, but I've done more work on a chart that I'm saving for next Saturday, and I've actually done kind of a little bit more research on this one in particular, but we'll save that one because there's like a backstory to it that is rooted absolutely in an actual true event, right? Now, the Jim Jones thing is a true event, but that's a cult, right? I don't consider that paranormal. I don't, although maybe some people would. I don't know. People died for sure. Um, but the cult question came up last week. And did anybody come up with an answer? Like, what's the difference between a cult and a religion? Right? Like, we can list a whole bunch of facts, and there's only scarily enough, there's only one thing that separates them, that makes them different. And when you think about just that alone, even if you don't know what the one thing is, that's freaky as shit, isn't it? And I'm not ripping down on anybody's religion. I'm not saying, "Hey," I'm not saying that. I'm just saying just that information right there is freaky as hell. Um, so Christy, Fairy there, Haffers. Let me see who else did I'm just trying to say hello to people so far. Look, Gibson's here. Gibson, how are you? How was it? You made it. You made it. How did it go? Was it hopefully it went okay. Hopefully it was, manageable. Oh. Do you have some stories? Gibson, you gotta have some stories, girl. I know you do. Maybe something you haven't heard or haven't shared with us. Okay, so Lou said, yeah, look at this shit. Yes, it was 68 and 50s overnight. We had rain and it cooled us off much needed. Yeah, you guys were in the triple digits in October still. I know when I was on the phone with my mom, especially, yesterday and this morning, she was just like, "My feet are freezing." And so here's me like, "Okay, well, what's the temperature there?" You know, because you'd never know. Well, I mean, you normally know, but I was like, "Well, no wonder. Holy shit," because she's been walking around, like, in a pair of, sandals, like, no socks and sandals. Well, I would need to have something on my feet with those temperatures, even now, like with us. I think God, I started wearing my socks, my wool socks. Shit, I started putting like weeks ago. Was like, okay, long sleeves, layers. I need some wool socks on my feet. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Michael Stevens. Hello, Michael Stevens. How are you? You got some information. Let me see what you got to say here, Michael. I heard uh so what's Savage Mill? I don't even know what the hell that is. It's in Maryland. There was a security guard who quit because she heard a ghost that nobody wants to do that overnight shift. Oh, so do you know what Savage Mill is exactly? Is it like a known haunted location or something? Or yeah, I don't know anything about it. And maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe I never even heard of it. Has some stories about ghosts at malls. You know what? I do. You're right. I do, Lou. I do. It's really personal though. It's a really personal story. It is, but it isn't. And maybe that's, yes, finally better yesterday. It's okay. It went fabulous, Gibson. Awesome. Awesome. So Lou S says their tax status. I love that. Their tax status. You know what? Um, I don't think that's it. I mean, I guess it could be, but typically, as long as you declare whatever your cult is as a religion, you get the tax status. Do you follow what I'm saying? So you can still not be paying any taxes. You just, I can, yeah, it doesn't take a lot to make something a religion. You follow? But I see where you're going. But it's something a little bit more it's something that has more to do with beliefs. How about that? Yeah. So the weather finally got better here this week. Got down. Okay, right? Everyone's like, yes, thank God. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, fairy there. I'm so sorry you were sick. No. You know what? Yeah, don't apologize. You're good. Yeah, we're doing ghosts. I'm in. Okay, so when people say I'm in, does this mean you can come on and talk about a ghost story? Because I would love to do that. I hate to be the one sitting here and just telling you my different experiences. I would really like to hear some stories that you guys experienced or felt, or even if it's a story that you heard. Um, and it doesn't have to, I don't have to pull up a chart like where you were in the event. For some folks, I do that because they're people who I know are into astrology, and so I would pull up events. Um, um, well, I would. Again, that's very gray territory. That's gray territory. Cult likely does not even. Um, I no, I would probably disagree with that because like I said, you can Christy said I got EVPs. You can you can claim a religion. You can be like, yeah, this is my religion. And it doesn't have to be like it's not a difficult thing to do to form a religion and to get that tax exemption. So even though let me put it like this, most cults don't sit there and announce we're a cult. Do you know what I'm saying? It's more of we kind of follow along the same line and the same belief type of thing. And so some say Scientology is a cult, yet it is a religion. That's a great example. Thank you for saying that. There you go. Bam. Sure, some would point at it and call it a cult, yet it files as a religion. Do you see what I'm saying? And you're saying your next comment, even though I don't want to get into this topic tonight, like deep dive on it, it's all perspective. But is it? That's what I'm saying. There is a difference. There is a definite, definitive difference between that's what I'm saying. There is a definitive difference. Um, it's not about perspective on this one. You follow? There's a very clear difference. But I understand what you're saying that, in the midst of a conversation, we have different perspectives, but there is truly a difference. So, Fairy there says, yes, I have a few. Christy says, I got EVPs. Um, okay. All right. So, Christy, are you going to share your EVPs since you're number one? Like you were the first person here, and that's how we go. First come, first serve. So I know you're busy working, but could you share your EVPs? And if you can't do it tonight, that's fine. But yeah, I'm seeing that you say you got some EVP. Oh, Christy says absolutely. She's knitting and sewing, but when it comes to the ghost stuff, she's ready. She's front and center. Okay. So if absolutely and a yes, do you have them handy? Do you have your EVPs with you? Because I'm going to give you the link and then you can come on and you can chit chat or let us hear it. I've got at least 3 stories. Woohoo. Barry there's got some stories. Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so ready for you guys to share your stories. All right. So this link, this is for Christy. Yeah, my neighbors are out there now. They got real quiet for a minute there. They were probably eating. And my neighbors are like the biggest barbecuers. They're out there with the smoker and it's all year long, which is absolutely fine. Some of the greatest smells come over. They are. Our hubby is a big smoker barbecue dude. And I'll take that over cigarette smoke any day of the damn year. All right, Christy's already here. Holy shit. Let me get her in here. This woman is like raring to go. Let's get this going here. Hello, hello,
All
hello.
right.
Oh, I hear you
Found.
nice and clear. Very good.
Well, I'm going to share my screen like we did before. And
You do whatever works for you. Okay.
because I've got you some EVPs that this is back in my ghost hunting days.
No problem.
I'll share the screen. Can you see it?
All I see is what I've been seeing, which is just like your chosen. Oh, wait, we got another screen. Hold on. Let me go get that other screen. Add to the stage. Look at
Okay.
that. Woohoo. It worked this time, Chrissy. Remember before we couldn't get this shit to work?
Yes, this is awesome.
It
I
is
don't know if you-
super awesome.
Now, let's see if you can hear them. That's the
Wait,
thing.
everybody at home, turn up the volume.
I'm
Turn
turning
down
my-
the lights and turn up the volume.
It's not what
Alright,
I wanted. Hold on.
let's go dark.
Okay, ready?
Yes, we're ready. Did I
Can you
just
hear
hear
that at all?
Did I hear like a masculine voice?
It was somebody laughing. So let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do that again.
Hear it?
I heard something.
Uh-uh.
My neighbors are literally right outside my window now.
Let's
What
try
about
another one.
what about the rest of you out there? Can the rest of you hear it? They're right outside. I just closed the window before the live began.
Let's try another one.
Sure. Christy, did you just record yourself on that one?
No, ma'am. This is an EVP from I'll tell you when.
Wow. That voice kind of sounded like you.
No. This was from 2017.
Okay.
Let's play it again. He
Yeah.
says, I chased my girl.
God bless it. That is clear as a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So do you remember where each one of these were?
Yes. We were in Sandy Valley Cemetery, which was that creepy haunted one that I got chased out of. And
Oh, yeah, that crazy story you were telling us about?
yeah. Okay. So here's the one
Wow.
that we were an all girl ghost hunting group. There was no
Right.
men whatsoever.
Yeah.
So listen to this.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think I heard, what are you all doing?
What are y'all doing up here?
Yeah.
And come to find out the guy, and we're in Ohio, and I'm the only one with this crazy accent, but
Right.
everybody has that Ohio accent, which is like not one. And that guy sounds Southern to me.
Well, play it again. Please.
Oh.
Ooh. And you know what? What was really crazy about that
Mm-hmm.
is it was like the intent, the emotion behind that too was super strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone was mad.
And the founder of that little community was from Virginia.
It was like, what are you all doing up here? Like, it was just like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell are y'all? You know, it was really, wow.
Isn't
These
that
are
crazy?
phenomenal. These are phenomenal.
Let's see.
Frankie, can you go now? Frankie. Please?
Whoa.
Honey? Will you get where you want going that way?
Do you hear that?
I heard a female saying, Frankie, can you?
Now, I don't know who that was, but the other one was Knox, my friend. And she said something about Pete, and I don't know what she was talking about, but because her name's Knox, but so I don't know what she's kind of psychic anyway, so she just goes off on these tangents. But that Frankie, I have no idea who that is. So I'll play that one again.
Frankie? Frankie, can you go now? Frankie? Please? Honey? Will you get where you want going that way?
Okay, so there's the two different voices.
Yeah.
And then your friend was the second voice.
Right.
That was coming through like, yeah,
I'll tell you.
And
Yeah. Hold on. Let's play it again.
Hey. We dished Amanda.
That was me talking.
Frankie? Frankie, can you go now?
When that Frankie,
can we
can
go
you hear
now?
that? Huh?
She said, Frankie, can we go now?
Yeah, that. I don't know who that is.
Okay. So that
The
was the
other part,
EVP.
and
Was
the
your
other
friend.
part is not. hmm
Gotcha. Well,
Crazy,
whenever you
huh?
hear the EVP and that voice from the other side, it's always got the static surrounding it, you know?
hmm Here's another one.
See that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where he said, "How can I?" It's a
Yeah, play
whisper.
that again. I didn't I had a hard time with that one.
See that? Mm-hmm.
Huh.
We were working with a pendulum on that one.
Wow.
And he whispers, "How can I?" I don't know if he was figuring out how to work the pendulum.
Mhm.
So listen again. I'm gonna turn it up on my end. I don't know if it'll work or not.
See that? Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I heard the response in the background.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay. Voice 3. I don't know what this one.
Look at that.
Wait, play that again? My neighbors.
I'm actually look at that.
Huh.
Now that's me talking, but then let me play it again.
I'm actually look at that.
So that's crazy. It sounded like I was getting breathless.
Yeah. It was hard for me to hear all of that only because again, I got my neighbors over here. Hopefully y'all can hear. It's almost like we're the responses that are kind of like whispers in the background or something.
Yeah. Some of them I
At
can
least on
get.
that one.
Yeah, these are the ones that I don't even know what this guy said.
Wow. Very soft spoken.
hmm We were talking, but I guess
Yeah.
I talk a lot. So, but yeah, those are mine.
Wow.
This one I liked.
Wow. That's so crazy. Some of these ones that come through so clearly, it almost sounds like a freaking I don't know. It's kind of like I'm listening to a movie or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a voice from a different time.
hmm But yeah, those are the ones I found. Those were on a
You've
computer.
got some very good ones.
Those are Sandy Valley Cemetery. That one,
Wow, that
I
place
don't
is
know.
rocking.
I'll tell you, it's scary, very scary. But last time I went there, I was depressed for like 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh.
That was after we got chased out. But
So after you got chased out, did you feel better? Did
6
your
months
depression
later,
go away?
6 months
Oh,
later,
wait a minute. Okay, so okay, so going to the cemetery, that kicked off the 6 months of depression.
of hell. It was hell. It was bad.
Oh. Oh.
It was very
Oh.
bad.
So do you feel like are you feeling like, okay, I went there and I came home with some shit and it lingered over me like a gray cloud and
Oh
the next
yeah,
6 months were really bad? So you kind
yeah,
of pinpoint it to the fact that you were there and you probably brought some shit home with you.
yeah. Because that was the time that last time I was there, I had to be carried out of there. Um,
What wait a minute. We must have missed that story, Christy.
Well,
Somehow
it
you didn't
was
tell us the story that you had to be freaking carried out?
yeah, because okay. So
Hello?
we would visit that place a lot because it was great. But because we get things like this,
Yeah, yeah.
But if you looked at it, when you went in, you had to walk down this little road. It wasn't maybe not even like a half a football field to get to the hard road. But you
Mhm.
walk down this road, and then it opened up into this cemetery. And we were doing our thing. EVPs. I had night vision goggles, all kinds of stuff, and you could outside the cemetery. You just heard rustling all the way around it. So we sat there and we messed around for about an hour, 2 hours. And I always used to say before I left was, we leave you in love and light. And
Mhm.
I was in the middle of the cemetery when I said that. And I looked down, and the shoes I had on were not the shoes I was wearing at that particular moment. And
What?
yeah,
So
it was just weird. It was just
so
I
you
had white
suddenly had different shoes on your feet.
yes, because when I looked down, it wasn't my same shoes.
Do you feel that it was your vision? Like, did other people confirm you were suddenly wearing different shoes, or you were just seeing that you were wearing different shoes?
I was seeing that I was wearing different shoes, and I almost went to my knees, and two of my friends picked me up, and once we crossed over onto the hard road through that little lane,
Mhm.
it was fine. I was fine.
You know, that's really interesting because there are lots of folks who have experiences where I think they're called different things, but sometimes they're referred to like as a stand-in. So someone kind of jumps into your body type of thing, not you know, not the way we talk about it sometimes, but in the ghost world, it's a stand-in, which is almost they don't call it a possession. They don't call it it's almost like I guess you can kind of think of it in the way that a medium allows another entity to be a part of their physical space, to share the physical space, and it sounds like that might have happened and you were aware of it as it was happening, and luckily your friends were there and were, like, kinda snatched your ass out of there?
It it's possible. If if I knew then what I know now, I would have tried to experience. If I was there now, I would I would see if I could experience the full thing. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I didn't
Yeah,
know what
what you
I
were
didn't know.
experiencing. But
Yeah.
you had fallen to the ground.
Yes. My knees buckled.
Your knees buckled, and your friends were just like, "Okay, it's time to get
Yep.
the hell out of here.
Yep.
This is serious."
Yep.
And you're saying if you knew now, you'd be like, "No, no, no, keep me here, damn it, I
Yeah.
wanna experience this."
Yeah. If I knew then what I know now, I would have.
You would've said, "Let's do it."
Yeah.
Wow.
But we used to,
Um,
instead of going to a bar, that's what we used to do, hang out in cemeteries.
oh, hell yeah. That I could completely understand that. I absolutely would much rather do that.
But
Much rather
it's
do that. So, I don't know if you can see this on the screen,
yeah.
and I don't know if this is that cemetery.
Let me find it for you.
I think this is the oh, wait, this says this is a Green Lawn Cemetery.
Hold on. Let me Google map it.
Sandyville Road. Well, that's what I'm on.
It's
Um,
in Magnolia, Ohio.
and she's like, "You're not in the damn right town, Greer." Okay, let's see. Sandyville United Methodist. And you said, oh
Let
no, this
me
is Sand Valley. This is totally different thing.
share my screen.
All
Share.
right, let me do that.
Share my window. Entire screen. Share. Remember where it's at. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Here.
So then it looks like I was in the right area then.
Yep. This is the little.
Okay. That's what I was looking for. That little path that you said you had to
Yep.
walk down that was kind of like the okay.
Yep. And we would park here.
Okay, so then I'm
It looks
just,
like a heart, don't it?
yeah, it kind of does. Yep. I was looking for like a water source.
No.
Sometimes if you can see water nearby.
Oh, it's Sandy Creek.
Yeah. Yeah. So in other words, it should have been water. It normally is water during the rainy season or something, right?
Yeah.
Possibly. Or it was at
Mhm.
one time. Anyway, because normally that concentration of water
And then look
increases.
here. There's a
Yeah, I
creek
see
right.
that.
So
Yep.
it's in between two creeks.
Yeah. And normally, because whenever we would do the ghost hunting, that was kind of like always what I noticed.
Hmm.
I always noticed there was an increase of water, whether it was the building we were in was,
Here it
one of
is.
those really old buildings.
See?
Yep, I see it. Yep.
Yeah. You have to walk down. I
Yeah.
can't get. You have to walk down that hole.
Yeah. 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 I see it. Yep. At one time, they
Creepy.
probably let cars in there, and then now it's like, nope. So if you have to walk down that, so is it it's a cemetery that it's an older cemetery. No one's being
Yeah.
buried there any longer.
Right. And
Yeah.
then I don't know when there was like a
It's
structure.
a pretty nice amount of land.
Yeah. There was a structure. I can't find it now. It's
Well,
wood,
mark it
and they
down.
would keep the bodies in it. Like if it was too cold to bury them.
Oh, right, right, right.
But we were sitting.
A
I
body
was
box
right here. I
to
was
the
right
ground is
here.
soft enough, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was like right here when I said I'll leave you in love and light. I was like right in here. And then we set up right here, like right in here one time.
Mhm.
And it was right at the edge of dark. And there was 3 of us. And we put a picnic basket in or a picnic blanket down. And see
Mhm.
this whole area you can't get in, but you would see or hear things all through this. But we were sitting there and we were messing around and we were getting ready to do something. And all of a sudden this wind blew.
Mhm. Like
And
out of nowhere.
yeah, and it felt like
Yeah.
just get out. So we picked it up like a hobo hut or like a hobo bag and ran out.
Ran out, but then yet went back.
Yeah, we keep coming back. Crazy.
Right?
But
They
it
ran,
just,
but then they went back.
yeah, but it
They
felt
keep
like
drawing
don't
you
come
back
here now.
in. Did
That's
anybody else have those experiences?
yeah, Knox did. I know Knox did because she's psychic.
Mhm. But any
And
experiences where they went home and they had that depression that you had or that you know what I'm saying?
it just all turned to shit within 6 months and we quit doing it. It just
Was it for
all
it was for everybody?
yeah. We just
You
quit
all
doing
went
it.
through the same thing kind of?
Yeah, just crap. Your whole world was
Oh.
falling apart. Just crap.
For all of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is the part that intrigues the shit out of me. You're like, "But if I knew what I know now, I wanna go back and do it."
I'd
Okay.
do it.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure yeah, maybe this isn't really ghosty, this part of it anyway, but what is it that says to you, "I need to go back and do this," or I want if I knew what I know now, what was it that you feel you know now where you're like, "I can go back, experience that again, and I don't have any concerns about what's gonna happen afterwards."
Because I don't need I need closure.
Oh,
Just
so
like
you
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just a
you feel
closure thing.
like you need closure. So there's a reason. It's not just, okay, I'm a badass. I know things now and I can handle it this time. It's you feel you need closure.
Yeah, I need some kind of closure, and
Is
if
is it
somebody
because
might need help.
okay. You know, somebody fairy there asked this question, but were they your feet?
No, no, they're just. It was a woman, but it was like brown shoes. I had white tennis shoes on. I wore white
Gotcha.
Reeboks,
Gotcha.
so you could see me run. Uh,
She said, so you could see me run. You see the
no,
white feet? That's Christy.
they were they were white shoes with the ties, like 40s, 1940s. They were
Hmm.
women's stuff.
Hmm. Wow. And you want to go back. You
I'll
need
go back.
closure.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. And so
because
you're not concerned about having like going through 6 months of hell afterwards.
I lived it. We can do it again.
She's like, we can
Why
do
not?
it again.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was.
Those are some great EVPs. I've heard a lot of EVPs, and some of those are the best EVPs I've ever heard.
I had that EVP where you could hear it, like you have to put headphones on and you have to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had that software because
Yeah.
I went through hours and hours and hours of that stuff. And
Yeah. That's a lot of work and effort into that. It does take a
yeah,
lot of time.
but
That's phenomenal.
when
I
we
had
went
no
to
idea
get,
you were going to have EVPs that were that clear.
I've still got stuff I got to go through from Gettysburg.
Oh,
And that's been
shit.
5 years ago. I just don't got
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But I don't have time now. But
Yeah,
no,
you
those
definitely
are,
don't. Wow. Those
yeah,
were awesome.
yeah. I'm glad I
Those
could
were
share it with
freaking
somebody.
awesome. Yeah, and yeah, we never heard the story of you, dropping to your knees and your girls having to pull your ass out of there, and then y'all got that was the last time y'all were there.
Yeah,
For everybody,
yeah,
it was like, that's it, and everyone's lives turned to shit for 6
yeah,
months.
yeah. Well, somebody got a divorce.
Yeah,
Somebody broke
things
up with their
just
boyfriend.
yeah.
It just was all kinds of crap. And I moved. So,
She said, "I got the hell out of there."
but no,
Wow.
it was just, that's the most active cemetery I've ever been, ever. Other than Moundsville. I got some in Moundsville, EVPs from there. I got
Mhm.
called a bitch in Moundsville through
Mm.
a ghost box. Um,
Mhm.
so
Mm.
I was like, well, thank you. But, oh my God.
Well, that was awesome.
All right.
Um, I'm so glad we got to hear them and that
Excellent.
you could share the story around them. You were the
Yeah.
frequent cemetery visitors.
Yes. Yes. They'll probably go, she's back if I go.
Yeah, I'm surprised y'all didn't hear that on there, but man, some of the shit that we did hear was so clear. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was clear,
Yeah.
but yet you could tell it was from the other side. You could
Yeah.
hear like the electrical static around it, you know?
Yeah.
You could hear it. And so, wow, those are just
That
great.
was that was before I made my Frank's box because I jailbroke a Radio Shack radio to make a Frank's box or a spirit box.
Mhm.
And that was before I even had one of those. So
Yeah.
I,
There's something about those that where I'm always just I don't know. I don't know. I kinda like it. You've got your little EVP recorder and you just click record and the shit you pick up. Because now everyone's got a freaking ghost box. Everyone, there's just
yeah.
something about catching it in
Well,
the raw like that where you're not using this other technology to assist it.
well, this was back when Radio Shack was a Radio Shack.
Right,
When
right,
I made
right. Exactly.
I
Right.
made mine.
When it was yeah, they don't even exist anymore, right? They're
Uh-huh.
gone. They're
Yeah.
totally gone.
I still have it,
Wow.
and I still have it. And it works. It does work. Um, but
Awesome.
all right,
Freaking
I'm off
awesome.
here. I'm gonna
All
go
right.
back to
Thank you
sewing.
so much for sharing that. That was fantabulous.
All right. Scream at you later.
Thank you, Christy.
Hey, bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right. That was awesome. All right. Thank you so much. So we got another story from somebody somewhere. Who are we hearing a story from now? Let's see here. Let me go. I might have to go check my phone, but they were your feet exactly. Um, I have an EVP story too. It's okay. Yeah. I don't care what year it's from. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let me get you on here. I think the link is still there, but we can give it to you. Fairy, there. Are you ready to tell your EVP story? Um, yeah, let's get this in there for you. Let's get your link for Fairy there, and let's hear your EVP story. Wow, man. Whew, Christy, you just, yeah, you and your girls out there doing the ghost hunting stuff. Y'all were doing y'all were doing the shit I was doing alone. And boy, I had a crew like that to work with. I mean, I did have a crew to work with, but it was very different. It was very, very different. Especially if it's a crew of women. It's a very different thing when you get the women's energy together. Very different energetically. Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Are you? You said good morning. Did you have a long
That's
day?
no,
Did you just
that's
get up?
no, that's kind of normal for me because
Oh, okay.
I'm verbally backwards
That's okay.
sometimes.
That's okay. Like I said earlier, with the Mercury and with my Mercury there's just a lot of weirdness in
Yeah.
communication for me right now, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just not right in my head right at this moment.
Okay.
So,
So my EVP story was from 1971.
yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
my mom and I were living out in New Braunfels, Texas, which is like 35 miles northeast of
I've
San
been there.
Antonio.
Yes.
And
Oh
she
shit, I'm thinking
decided,
of the ghost tracks. You must know about the ghost tracks
oh
then.
yeah, I've been there too. That's a whole
Yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
story.
I've been there too. Oh yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So my mom has decided that for Thanksgiving, since the family for some reason can't all be there, that she's going to take me to a dude ranch, which was a new thing in the hill country at that time. We're going to go to a dude ranch and go horseback riding and have a I don't know, some kind of a outdoor cook-off and things like this at Thanksgiving. And it's really
Yeah.
pretty time of year, and it got cold and everything. And we go and they give us this little cabin. And they've only been open for a few months. This is a brand new thing in the hill country. Not a lot of it is happening. There's a couple of like tennis
Yeah.
dude ranches, but not real dude ranches.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we go into our little cabin and we unpack our things, and I unpack this little reel to reel tape recorder that my mom had got in a box of miscellaneous things at an auction because she
Oh
owned a
shit.
little used furniture store. And I had said, "Oh, can
Oh
I
sh
have that out of that box?" And
God,
there
does
were
this
some
sound
tapes
like
there.
the beginning of a Hollywood horror movie?
And they're just little tiny reel to reels, like 4 inches. They're little, it's a little like as portable as it can be for 1971.
Right,
And there's
right,
a whole stack of tapes. And
right.
so we get bored a little later and we take it out and we're like, well, what are you going to do with that? She wants to know. Well, I'm going to, when my sister comes back, we're going to sing some duets and we're going to have fun listening to ourselves singing. And so I put in some tapes and I figure out how to do it. And I turn on record and I can't figure out if it's recording, but it's been recording for about a minute. So I stop it and I turn it back and I push play. And my mom and I had not said a word. I don't know why I thought we were recording, but we hadn't said a word. I turn it back on play and we hear someone talking. And it sounds like a couple of women saying, "What's going on here? What are they doing?" When my mom and I start looking at each other like, this is really weird. She says, "Do it again." So I turn it on record and she says, "Leave it on for a couple of minutes." And we just sat there for a couple of minutes, just looking at, there was a fire in the background,
Yeah.
all this. And she says, go ahead and turn it off and play it back. And we hear what sounds like four older people, two couples talking, and they can see us and they wonder who we are and why we're there. And my mom and I
Wow.
got scared and we turned off the tape recorder, pulled out the tape, put it in the trunk, and
Holy
didn't
shit.
talk about it
They
again
drove up to
ever.
the first dumpster and threw everything in that damn dumpster and sped off.
I don't know what happened to that.
Wow. How freaky, right? Like, how old were you?
I think I was 10 or 11.
Wow. So your mom must have been like, oh my God, what the hell did I do?
Well, I think she had already suspected that I was somewhat psychic from some other thing. We never directly talked about it, but there
Yeah.
was top shelf books that were all about
Mm.
psychics and Ruth
Mhm.
Montgomery books, all and this other stuff, which leads to the
Mhm.
next story, which happened a few years earlier when I think I was about 8 or 9. And I had
Mhm.
gotten to the top shelf. I had figured out by then all the good stuff is on the top shelf of the bookshelf. And I
Literally
had
the
been
top shelf.
reading, yes, so I had been reading through Ruth Montgomery, and I
So
got
these
to
were your
the
mom's books, I'm assuming?
yes,
Okay.
and
There you go.
I got to the part where she was talking about channeling and automatic writing, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that sounds so neat. I want to try that. My
Yeah.
mom's in her. It's late at night. My mom's in her room sleeping. My brothers and sisters are all out doing fun things. I'm all by myself except for my mom in the house. So I
Yeah.
go and I find a clipboard and I put a piece of paper on it and I decide, well, I want to know this is not me doing this. So I'm going to
Right.
do this with my right hand. I'm left-handed. I cannot write
Gotcha.
anything. So
Exactly.
I light a candle and I turn the lights down and I remember I put some music on and then I just
Mhm.
kind of sat there for a long time with my eyes closed and it took it maybe 10 minutes and my hands started slowly moving across the page, and it never was like writing. It was never like my fingers moving. It was like my hand would just move across the page and then it would stop, and then it would change direction and smoothly make another arc in another direction.
Mhm.
And I just waited and waited until it finished. And when I opened my eyes because I figured it was done, it had stopped moving for a little while. It was a
Mhm.
picture like a stained glass window of a Madonna.
Wow, it was a drawing.
It was a drawing of Madonna that looked like a stained glass window.
Wow. That's freaking awesome. Did
And
you
I
save it?
decided, no, I didn't. We moved a lot. We
Hell
moved
no.
every year because my dad was in the Air Force. So nothing
Gotcha.
like that ever got saved. I probably tried to, but my mom found it and probably said, what's this trash? Throw it away.
Yeah. Wow,
Not
how cool was that? So how old do you remember how old you were when you did that?
that. I was 8. I
Oh,
remember
got
feeling
you. That
like,
was
oh God, I
before
shouldn't
this
even be
event.
doing this. I was a little kid thinking I really shouldn't probably be doing this. This is creepy.
Um, well, the thing about it, at least I think, is if you don't know enough, then sometimes we're allowing, right? We're allowing someone to kind of share our space, right?
Yeah.
And be a part of it. And fortunately for you, I'm assuming everything was okay and there wasn't any kind of weirdness. It was just simply someone utilizing you.
Yeah, I figured it was the Madonna. It was something good, and
Uh-huh.
but there was something else over there, and I didn't want to mess with it anymore, and so I never did it again.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Well, see, you were freaking wise then for your age. You were quite wise or scared yourself to death.
A little bit of both, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I have a feeling my mother had all these books because just enough things had happened, and like every time the phone would ring when it was my father, I would know first ring, it's
yeah.
Daddy, and she'd answer, and she'd be pissed off because it was Daddy.
She'd be pissed off. I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
This was even later after they were divorced and everything. I'd be
Oh, gotcha.
running
Okay.
through the
I'm
house,
like,
so,
wait a
it's
minute.
Daddy, it's Daddy.
Okay.
So she
Um,
couldn't just tell me no, he didn't call.
gotcha. Gotcha. There was no
And I
lying
had
to you.
precog dreams and things like that. Let's see, but another story I wanted to tell was my dad had given me a Mustang when I was 16 because I had moved out of the house and I was living with my sister and needed transportation to get to work. And so I'm driving to work down this like 4-lane street, 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other way. I approach this stoplight where it's the cross street also has a turn lane, and that's all going fine. But it's the light starts to turn, and so I start to slow down. Unusual for me. Usually, if it's yellow and I'm that close, I will go through. At that age, I would have gone through. I start slowing down, and I feel like a hand on my shoulder, and something inside my head says, "Slow down and
Okay.
stop here." And I was stopped like a good trunk length away from the yellow line where you're supposed to stop at the stop line. And for me, that's weird. I'm usually on the line. And I turn my head and I look at the guy in the car next to me who gives me this really weird look. And I just shrug my shoulders like, I don't know why I stopped here. I turn my
Yeah.
head forward. A truck coming towards me in the oncoming traffic comes through the now red light and is hit by another car coming from
Oh shit.
the left, spins the truck around, and it ends up
Oh,
in my lane 4 inches from my bumper.
oh shit.
I could have been dead.
Wow. Absolutely. Holy shit. Talk about like the divine hand coming down with like you're going
Yes,
to stay right there. And how old were you you said
I was
16?
16. Yeah, I was
Wow.
16.
How freaky was that?
It was so freaky, I was shaking
I'm
for the rest of
sure.
the evening.
Holy shit. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. So I'm guessing now you're just like, I mean, it's some years later and you're just like, I trust when those things occur.
I trust my intuition, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing, no harm has ever come to me from trusting my intuition, ever.
Oh, well, that's
And
good.
it has saved me a lot of time sometimes.
Yeah, well, absolutely. In that instance, that was a really great example
Yeah, well, that
because you
saved my
stopped
life,
early,
not
but
just
so what?
time.
Nobody got hurt and you were
No,
actually probably saved your life or worse. I mean, there are worse things than, you know.
yeah, I was just in a little 1964
Yeah.
Mustang, and this was
Yeah.
like a big commercial pickup truck, like a 2.5 ton for them with
Yeah,
the
which would
glass
have,
racks
yeah,
on the back.
yeah, would have wiped you out.
But it was
Freaky.
4 inches from my bumper.
Holy shit. That's something. Both of those stories are something. I love the EVP one for sure, especially when you can hear the people. That made me think of a story that not really a story. It was an experience. I didn't have any recordings, of course, because it was like in the middle of the night, and I was in a friend's house, which is known to be just super active in general. And anyway, I could hear people. I was in one room sleeping, and there were people in the kitchen having a conversation, and they were talking about business. And I could hear their conversations, one male, one female. Anyway, in the morning, my friend who was in a different room, who was upstairs, right? I was downstairs, a room off of the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And so it wasn't her that was in the kitchen the night before, though, right? These were two different people, like two voices I had never heard before, right? One of them wasn't hers. And I knew it wasn't her. I knew it was literally hearing with my own ears, the other side, totally and completely. And so I didn't really say anything. I just, of course, waited until the morning. And then my friend gets up and I said to her, "Did you hear them talking last night?" And she goes, "You heard them?" And I said, "How the
Uh,
hell could you not hear them? I'm downstairs, this room right off of the kitchen." And she said, "Yeah, they get riled up at this time of year." And and sure enough, she was telling me what she heard them, and I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "They're really fired up." She goes, "Yeah, they're really fired up." And so the home that she owns, the home that she lives in, uh, they're two of the previous owners. This was each one of them having a discussion. They weren't husband and wife. They were just two previous owners that successively had owned this house at two different times, even though it was back to back times. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what they had in common though was this was a home that is actually in a location in Indiana, and it is Chesterfield, Indiana. And there's like a spiritualist community, and within that spiritualist community there's all like they've been doing stuff with the spirit realm since the 1800s. And so the homes that are on this land, they're all in their own little I don't know, they've got like a block, right? And it's like a fenced-in community, literally, because it's a spiritualist community, but it's also like a business. But a lot of people live there, like mediums live there. So
Right.
anyway, certain people were part of this institution, right? And so these were different people who were presidents of the institution at different timelines. So there was a meeting coming up, like a big committee meeting coming up on the weekend, and sure enough, they were riled up and talking and discussing it. Camp business. They were having their discussion about it. So it wasn't like a spooky thing in terms of, like, I don't know, you just could hear them talking about the business, about what, the things that were going to be important. And so it's just really fascinating shit. It's like,
Yes.
so wait a minute, I'm dead. Why am I still, how is it people are still processing and still dealing with business on the other side? Really wild.
As above, so below.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm thinking, man, when I'm out of this body, let me not be concerned about the shit and let me like be out there doing something else. I don't know. Like, I don't want to be tethered like that. At least that's how I feel about it. Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome stories. I wish I could hear your EVPs. I understand they're gone, but that's okay. Your story was awesome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, and then one really short one. My niece and I, who had not seen each other for maybe 2 or 3 years, she came over and with her son, and we're standing by the fireplace where there's this little tiny 3x5 picture of my mom sitting like 5 inches away from the edge of the shelf. And we're
Mhm.
just talking, and all of a sudden, this picture just flies between
I
us
was
both
just gonna
about
say
4 feet out and falls on the floor.
while I was talking and telling you my other story, that's I was being shown a picture in my head. No shit. I just thought I'm gonna leave this alone and save it for another time. All right. So you had a picture story and it came off the shelf and it went flying and anyway, we have these weird overlaps because I can tell you a couple of picture stories that when I hear other people tell their stories, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I got a story about that too. And mine multiple pictures that were on the walls, they didn't come off the wall, but at the same time, the pictures were all slanted. They all had turned and were slanted.
Ah.
This was all in that same house, by the way. This was all in that same house. And this was before the voices started, before they started having it was almost just like I mean, because I was there for that reason too at the time. So when your emotions are high and there's like a focus on it, it amps that energy up. And so like the night before I had arrived and my friend wasn't there yet. And yeah, pictures were turning. There was knocking, literally knocking and pounding. Well, not pound. Yeah, it was. How about glass rattling? Like she had like a big picture window type thing, like in the back of her kitchen that was like all glass that led down to her cellar. That damn thing was rattling. It wasn't the wind. There was an
Wow.
outer wall. This was not the outer wall. All that was rattling was the glass that separated the kitchen to the downstairs stairwell. You
Yeah.
follow? It was an
Yeah.
inner wall, and it wasn't like a wind thing, and I know there's a huge difference in the glass wall, and at that point, I was like, "Stop," because that was freaky. I was just like, "Okay, what the hell? Do not do this shit." It was just, you start conjuring up all these ideas and images in your head of just freakiness.
Yes.
Okay, you're like some freaky shit gonna come flying out of the sink at this point. Do you know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
that's about the
But
time I
as soon
usually
as I
announce
said,
you are
"Stop
not
that shit,"
allowed to scare me.
well, that was just it. As soon as I said, "That's enough," like, the shit ended and never happened to me again.
Yeah, you
It
just have to
ended
tell
and
them
never happened again.
you're not allowed to do this to me. I know better.
Yeah, yeah, it was way too much. It was like, "What the frick?" So I don't know if they didn't think I belonged there, or if I had permission to be there. Like, the woman gave me the key. I was house sitting. Do you know what I'm saying? I was pet sitting. Like, I was there for a reason too. Anyway, but that makes me think of your stories, just kind of brought that up. Stuff I just forget about those kind of stories.
I
All
know.
right.
Yeah, Kirsty jogged my memory too. So
Yeah, yeah,
of a
yeah,
few.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why it totally helps me to hear other people's stories, and I can kind of be like, "Oh my god, yeah, I went through something similar." But I also, at the same time, I don't know, I think a lot of my shit, it's just kind of focused on, I don't know. I don't have the raw EVPs to share. Like, any shit I had when I used to do the ghost hunting, I don't have any of the stuff.
Yeah,
Anything that we collected, anything that I recorded, like, all of that becomes what's the word I'm looking for? It becomes part of the group that you agreed to work with. Like,
yeah,
all those recordings, whatever you capture while you're working with them, it becomes all of their property. You follow?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, obviously I could have my own stuff, but I don't have anything. So, anyway, that's that.
I
I have
understand.
nothing to prove, or I have no recordings like she has, which is just freaking awesome.
I just
All
figure I
right.
don't know enough about the other side to get too involved, so I think I'll just stay on this side.
Well, you did great. You picked up on the automatic writing at the age of 8. Like, holy shit. You don't need to go to any
Oh
school
yeah,
and
it
learn
proved it.
anything.
I know it's
You already
real. I
got it
don't need
figured
to
out.
mess with it. Yeah, don't need to mess with it anymore. It's real. Done.
Yeah, that's an important thing to know. How far you're willing to go and where your boundaries are. I think that's super important. All right, I'm gonna go and get Haffers on here because I think he was before you
Yes.
and he made a mention and I didn't realize it. Yeah,
Okay.
my bad.
Thank you,
I messed up,
Haffers.
Haffers. But thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye.
Yep. Always awesome. Thank you. All right, Haffers, are you there? Are you awake? I'm here, and that was my mistake, Haffers. I just was looking through the chat, and it was like it looked like everybody was passing, and yeah. Oh yeah, Haffers, you definitely were number 3. All right. So Haffers, are you ready? Um, I hope you got a good ghost story. Well, Haffers, I know you got some crazy stories. Haffers, Haffers, yeah, he's got he's got stories that are like that take you off the damn planet. they're not, they're not. Well, I could be wrong. He might have something that's a little bit more Halloween festive type of thing, as opposed to. He's more of like we're gonna give you an alien experience. But I shouldn't speak for him. Oh, Stacy. Hello, Stacy. How are you? I'm just seeing you now. Star Moon. Who's Star Moon? Oh, I think you were here earlier. I don't know, man. Half the time my brain's not functioning right tonight. Star Moon. So Haffers, are you there? Did Haffers bail? And no one here is saying anything? Haffers, are you upset? What's going on? Haffers, what? w- Yeah, hope you're okay. Um, okay, maybe Haffers is gone. Maybe Haffers was like, I'm out of here. And no one here is saying anything? Well, because it's kind of a laid back, spooky story night, I guess. Yeah. Very there. I meant to ask you when you asked, but were they your feet? Like, I don't know when you put that in there. I don't know if it was before or after when I was asking Christy. I was just curious yeah, maybe you had some, I don't know, some intuition about that. Stacy said I'm passing. No problem. Everybody's passing tonight. It's just a spooky story night. Um, Stacy said we had our first snow. Was it, did you have a big snow over there? And yeah, she's, way northwest. Alaska? Okay, so I don't think Caffers is here. Either his internet might have went out, so that's frequent. That could happen. He's in South America. Um, well, it doesn't really matter where you live with internet these days, right? It's just only a couple of inches. Well, that's good. That's good. So spooky stories. Let me. It seemed to me that she might have seen other feet inside the shoes. Yeah. So you heard like the same thing I did. That's. Oh, yeah. You know, it is really awesome when you get to let the dog experience the snow, when they see snow for the first time, or at least get to go play in it for the first time. It is an awesome experience. We have next door. We have well, actually, I can't tell what we have anymore. It's the same neighbors that were barbecuing, but they've got what the hell is that big ass dog? Big dog. Loves the cold. Oh, I can't think of the name. Anyway, just a big ass dog. Loves the cold. And holy shit, the dog plays in the snow like as if it's like, 9 months old, just like a puppy, frolicking around, having a damn good time. Loves the freaking snow. It's not a Saint Bernard. It's the see, my brain just sucks right now. It just sucks. No, it's not a Samoyed. No. I mean, it's a big dog where people are like, I'm afraid of that. They have two. They have two big dogs. It's not a German Shepherd. They have oh my God, like I see its face. I can't think of its damn name. It's got like the orange and brown markings on the face, a square head, a big ass square head. No, it's not a Malamute. Big ass square head. Just a Rottweiler. Thank you, Star Moon. You got it. Rottweiler. Yep. And they like the cold. They like the cold. Yeah, a big dog. They like the cold. They like the snow. And boy, that dog is so happy when it snows. It's nice. I just love seeing I love snow. And it's nice to see the pets or kids, whoever, appreciate. But usually the kids are all screaming and acting crazy, and I don't know. It's not so bad here in our neighborhood. Although today, I don't know if this is common. It probably is. I saw a little one, probably 6 years old, if even, on a bike. 6 years old, so a really small bike, right? And normally, you might think, oh, they might have training wheels on, but this was like bike had this annoying high pitched noise, and I'm like, what the hell kind of a bike is this? And I'm looking, the kid's legs aren't moving like at all. And I'm like, oh, it's like a fake motorbike type thing. So it's just pure batteries up and down. It's got that high pitched whiny thing. So the kids' legs are never moving. They're never doing that. And I'm just like, wow. Hopefully they have a real bike too. I don't know. There's definitely something in there with the brain and the legs moving, right? I forget what it's called, but the brain needs it. And there's just some of that old school shit we can't, that we need. So Star Moon, do you have a spooky story? Does anybody else have a spooky story they want to hear? If you don't, that's fine. I have a spooky chart. I have a spooky chart. Wait a minute. Let me get caught up. Wait a minute. Am I not caught up? I know the chat's slow. So Stacy, Stacy says, what number am I? Oh, got you. Then she said, I'm passing. Okay. All right. So I did click on Haffers, but apparently Haffers left or whatever. Haffers isn't here. So let me get my chart on here. And so does anybody know the Jim Jones story? Again, this isn't a paranormal thing, but a lot of people freaking died. this location, the location of the Jim Jones shit, does anybody else know? Yeah. Started their own little funky whatever here in America. And then, yeah, ended up going to like northern South America, right? And just just kind of frightening because definitely cult like stuff. So this brings back up the cult discussion, which we're just going to look at this chart real quick so you can see it. I see that you guys can see the chart. Why can't I see the chart? Where the hell is it on my end? Oh, Lord. Oh, war. No wonder I can't see it. It's completely off the thing. Okay, so you guys got it. Let me get it over here so I can see it. And so I can take a look. So here we go. So the story behind this person basically, literally did have some, had a following, and there was always this thing with the following. Anybody who was joining their family, their group, nobody calls themselves a cult, but followers of his, big time. One of the main things was, of course, the money. You got to pledge your money. And it got so serious, it was to the degree where people were, like literally doing the whole Jesus thing and the eye of the needle. And, it's easier, it's harder for the rich people and for the people with the wealth and the material things. And so hand all your material things over to whatever their thing was. I don't even know what they called it, and that's okay. But looking at a chart, and this particular person's chart, so we got Cappy on the ascendant. So sometimes I know in the comments under videos, oh, I forgot to mention, I put up a video tonight. Oh, wow. Stacy said, I knew where I was when the news broke. Interesting. 4 degrees. And I'll have questions under the videos, and they'll say things like, I'm curious, how do I learn about the degree thing and the meaning of the degrees? Well, if you're listening to the videos, you kind of, you see the pattern, right? The degree, 4 degrees, 4th house. You just match the degree with the house number. And with the house number comes a sign, right? So the number 4, we would say then is Cancer energy, right? And it goes a little bit further than that, right? Because there's some higher degrees. The degrees in the chart go up to 30. Well, you just keep starting over again, or you keep continuing, I should say. So once you get to number 12, the 12th house, you would say that the 13th degree would then be Aries, and the 14th would be Taurus, and so on. Okay, so that was a quick lesson on that. 4 degrees, the public, home, family. If I'm Capricorn, I'm dad. But it's also like mom and dad energy, right? Because 4 degrees is mom, dad, authority figure. I'm the boss. So that's just the ascendant, which of course the descendant is 4 degrees of Cancer. Now, the Jim Jones story. Stacy says, I know the story. I know exactly where I was when the news broke. So for people who might not know the story, you could obviously Google it really quickly. But when it comes right down to it, ended up, I think he was already getting in trouble with the law, if I'm not mistaken, whether it was from tax evasion or what. I'm not really sure what the details of why he fled. Literally took his flock to South America, which is what he did. Like, we're just going to go here. We'll go down here. Nobody will bother us, right? And that's what they did. And so I think there was like over 100 people, maybe more. I'm not sure how many people literally lived there. They kind of created this tight-knit community. And when they I guess there was like reporters there and stuff. And anyhow, there were people who were like doing a story, literally like legit reporters. And I think it raised an awareness of their location and what was going on, because all these people had kind of pledged their wealth and their well-being and everything to the leader of this group. Well, the leader of the group, of course, was Jim Jones. And if you read back a little bit further, there's news stories about him and his mom, and how his mom really believed from a very young age that he was like the second coming of Christ. And I don't know if she would tell him this. I don't know that. But she felt strongly. And so he would do, like, as a young man, he was kind of like a really young prophet in a way. And so there was a lot of hands-on healing. There was a lot of demonstrations. And then there were demonstrations that weren't necessarily legit. It was about people and getting their money. And anyhow, so you know how that kind of snowballs. And it's kind of freaky to me, though, right? Because you guys have heard me talk about the desire energy, and look at all the Taurus energy he's got. And look at his Mercury in Taurus, and his sun is in Taurus. You see that? So the Venus energy and the desire energy. Yeah. And his degree of his sun, the sun degree here, that is the degree. Yeah. That's the degree of Capricorn. So his sun is at the degree of Capricorn. His ascendant is Capricorn, yet it's at the degree of the public and feminine energy. And then that was another thing too, of course, within the cult. It ended up being a lot about not just the money, but like he had multiple women. And I don't know the ins and outs because I wasn't there, but I think there was, multiple women that were, whether they were trying to gain this person's favor or whatever the hell it was like, yeah. Anyway, it just seems like there's always this combination of money and women. And in some places, young boys. But in this instance, I remember them saying young women, and I'm not saying like necessarily underage, but definitely women and lovers, and just like that somehow being part of this, this daily thing, So here's the moon in Aries at 12 degrees, Pisces degree. We have Sappho and the North Node at 13. That's an Aries degree. Aries is a leader, right? It's the ego. And some of these keywords might not seem super positive and optimistic or very, they just might seem a little bit more about the vices, but we're talking about a person who ultimately demanded ultimate allegiance in your entire life, and even, for females who weren't married. And again, I don't know the details of this, but for females, yeah, basically your body pledging, it to him to do as he pleases. And so Aries energy, super focused on self, absolutely focused on the body, the physical body. That's a big thing. Looks and appearance for sure. And then look at his freaking Sedna and Uranus, guys. Look at this freaky shit. Look at the Sedna and Uranus. Do you see it? 17 degrees. 17 degrees. So the 17 degrees, that's the Leo degree. 17 degrees. Yeah, Leo. So playing games, fun, creative, but something different and new. But I can also be the authority figure because it's Uranus energy, but it's also group energy, right? This rules the group, right? But it's Sedna, feminine energy, use and abuse feminine, use and abuse females. Literally, there can be rape involved, and multiple men possibly with the same female. Like that's kind of some of the shit that Sedna's gone through. That's her history here. So this is frightening when I see this right here. Like that's frightening as hell. And then of course, Venus at 21 in Aries. Venus, feminine energy in Aries, youthful feminine energy at 21. That's the goddamn Sagittarius degree. Think Jupiter. Wow. That's the Jupiter degree. Lots Give me more. It's never going to be enough. I need more. So I think substances also played a role in his life. If I remember, I started reading up on this last week. So substances played a role. We showed the moon at 12 degrees. Substances played a role. And substances were also a role in in the deaths that occurred. And it wasn't just the deaths of like just the members, but there were members there. There were spouses who had children that were there, that believed in this man, that believed he was the Messiah, literally, right? They moved to South America with him. And so Black Moon Lilith and Estrella, both in Pisces, in the second house. Like second house in Pisces, when anytime you have desires, second house, and then addictive energy mixed together, it's very, very, very difficult combination. Very difficult combination. So what else? Let's go look at the 8th house. Well, actually, before we even get there, 7th house, Cancer energy, the public. Jupiter in Cancer energy. So Jupiter is normally really beneficial in Cancer, or I should say it produces, right? So there's favor, like among the public when you have Jupiter in Cancer, right? Celebrity almost type of energy. It's conjunct. He's got a Jupiter and Pluto midpoint there because his Pluto's right at 19. And what's Pluto? Change and transformation, right? Usually change and transformation on a deep level, something about the history and the past is involved here. That 19 degrees is like Libra degree. And remember, Jupiter and Pluto, the Leo degree. That Leo degree, that can be I'm your dad, I'm your ruler. That can be I'm having fun, but it's also like the whole romance and playing around and mating type of shit. And remember, that 17 degree was his Uranus and his Sedna, right? Yeah, taking a risk with my body. So whether it's with substances or with multiple partners, right? Money, taking a risk with what I desire and with my values, money and Venus. That's all part of this too. I didn't even mention about the Nessa at 22. Remember, I'm the boss. I'm the authority figure. Nessa at 22. Freaking Juno at 28. Approaching a critical degree, partnerships. Very youthful energy. And yes, when the heat was on, like when the police and the authorities were aware, okay, this is where this dude's located. He's doing some illegal shit. And he knew the authorities were coming down on him. They were getting close. They were hot on his trail because there were reporters there. It really triggered him. And it came down to him basically saying, you know what? You never really die. Only the body dies. We will go on living. And these, I don't know exactly what he said to them, but Mercury at 3 degrees with the sun at 22. Sometimes with that Mercury at 3 being really far behind on the sun, so this person might not have been like the smartest person in the room, but there may have really truly been like some prophetic words that this person had for sure. There was a lot here at 3 degrees here. A lot here at 3 degrees. Probably beautiful communication, especially in the 4th house. I think this is an accurate chart, meaning like a birth time. Let me go back and check that. I'm sitting here talking all this shit. Yeah, we got an actual birth time, 10 p.m. Lynn, Indiana. 4th house is emotions and feelings, right? So a super emotional communicator. And again, the 4th house is the public. So people are just like, this person's sincere. And when you can communicate with the emotions and the feelings, people feel a sense of sincerity involved in it. When they're like, oh, wow, this person really means what they're saying. They're sincere. So you can kind of see right there with the communication, the combination of Aries in the 3rd, the North Node there at 13, the leader of something, Aries at 13, North Node there, right? Spiritual leader. Aries is supposed to be on a high level, right? I don't use weapons anymore. I use my words. Well, look how this shit went really crazy. So this person was a spiritual leader. They absolutely were. But when the going got where The desire took over and the addiction and the drugs, but the followers followed this person to wherever they went, right? Said, you know what? They knew damn well they were drinking Kool-Aid that was laced, that they were taking their last sips. Like they from what I read, multiple different stories, they willingly drank the Kool-Aid where it would kill them. So Pluto can represent the change in transformation metaphorically, but can also like tangible and physical, like we're truly going to be dying, right? And we'll hopefully transcend. So then it comes to the Leo energy, which can be very dramatic and showman-like and putting on a performance. Remember that, right? That's important. Well, this person had their Mars in the 8th house with Neptune and vertex there. Mars, the physical body, the appearance, it's in Leo. Vertex is there at 14. 14 is the desire. That's Venus degree. That's that mixture. And then Neptune conjunct, like damn near exact, 59, 58 minutes, damn near exact in Virgo. Neptune and Pallas Athena. She's the strategist. Neptune, yeah, I can be the spiritual leader, really creative energy, but this is also a performance, very persuasive, and of course, substances, 8th house. So we see this and we're just like, oh my God. The other thing too, this person had more desire energy, 2 degrees with serious relationships, partnerships, business partnerships, serious, how I feel nurtured. Think Venus, think the Libra energy, the money, the finer things in life, fine art, beauty. We think of the material world, but also these significant one-on-one relationships. That's a big part, and it's connected to the beliefs too. But what do we always hear people say sometimes with Libran energy, and it wants to control when it goes extreme, because this person had the desire at 2 degrees, right? The desire to control. I want it to be beautiful and perfect. This very idealistic utopian type of whatever it was he told these people. I have no clue what he told them, what it was that they bought where they were like, yes, I want in on that. It sounds magical. Ninth house, Saggy and Jupiter, but can definitely connect in we're often saying 9th house is religion and spirituality. And then look, the midheaven, 27 degrees of Libra at the midheaven. That's all Venus again, right? That 27 degrees, yep, just always double checking my cheat sheet. Mercury, speaking, talking, business, co-workers, neighbors, a really good communicator, really good networker, but it's really for the long-term material, tangible security. Like, how do I get more drugs? How do I get more women? How do I get more material, tangible things, right? Really kind of freaky. And then, of course, the Sagittarius in the 11th and the 12th. And look at the Salacia. Salacia, goddess energy, feminine energy, Neptune's wife. So illusions and delusions, 1 degrees. My body, I'm the leader, the appearance even, my freedoms, my rights, and travel with the group. Look at travel with the group. I'm the leader of that group. Sagittarius, 11th house, group energy. So it's really easy to pinpoint, when we see the history, when we see and we know the story, and we're just like, holy shit. And then when you look at the chart, it's like, damn, you could see how the strong predispositions from birth, they're massive. The ego with all that Aries energy in the 3rd house, holy shit. And the desire, all that Taurus energy and the emotions. When you fuel like what you want to bring forward into your life, emotions are like gasoline to manifest something. And so when someone mixes the emotions with the desire Taurus in the 4th house. Holy shit. It is powerful. It is powerful. This is freaky energy. And I'm not saying freaky as in, I'm just saying freaky as in what happened. Like these people drank the Kool-Aid, like 100 people. They all died. When the authorities showed up, they were all freaking dead. They picked up bodies of children with their mom and dad. They drank the shit together. How sad. How sad. Yeah. Stacy's got the story. Congressmen and reporters asked if anybody was being held against their will. Their will. I said willed. Jones said anybody could leave at any time. They asked if anyone wanted to leave. Some did. And that's what set it off. So that's what set it off. And then the rest were just like, okay, we're going to drink the Kool-Aid and we're going to just leave. Oh. She said they had drills before, though. They were preparing. They were prepared for that to happen at any time. 909 people. I mean, that blows my... It's really wild because in the world that we live in right now, right? We're always like, God, everything's so crazy right now. It's insane. Like, I just want shit to be back to normal, right? But then you read a story like this. Not 100 people. I'm sorry. Did I say 100? Stacy, is that right? The 900? Why did I think it was 100? I'm like double checking. I'm like 900 people drank the Kool-Aid and died? Okay, this is blowing my mind away even more. And thank God the congressman went there. The kids drank the Kool-Aid. And the babies that couldn't drink were injected. I can't, like, yeah. That kills me. That absolutely kills me. That just kills me. Because to me, children, that kills me. That, yeah. That part of it really, yes, over 900 died. I mean, can you imagine following some mother effer? And it wasn't just a small group of people. 900 is a huge amount of people. Over 900 left America, went to South America to live in this utopian world that this individual, whatever this was, I don't know what it was that they were so drawn and attracted to. Oh my God. Freaky. Just wild. Just super wild. So in this chart, trine energy, his ascendant, 3 degrees in Earth, he had a lot of things at 3 degrees in Taurus. Remember the Mercury there? He had Sultan's victory. He had celebrity at 3 degrees as well, right? He was a celebrity. He had the Sultan's victory at 3. He had Mercury at 3. He had multiple things right at 3 degrees, trining his ascendant. How you appear. And then on top of that, let me get this drawn over here like this. The Neptune. Neptune can also be celebrities and public figures. But Pallas Athena was there. He had a plan. Do I think the plan was for them to all die? Hell no. I don't think it was for them to all die. But that absolutely became part of the plan. And we could see now in this chart really clearly, because Neptune is how I disappear and how I escape. If I don't die, then I go to prison. You get people who do crazy shit. They do stuff that's against the law. And many times they're found, especially like Dennis. By the way, he's still in rehab, guys. For anybody who doesn't know, Dennis is still in freaking rehab, still trying to heal. So he still isn't able to make videos on his channel. But people just disappear, right? But he had a story. It was a true story. It wasn't like a made up story. It was something that was happening in Rockport. I think it was in Rockport. And a body had washed up. They found a body. And I don't even know if it washed up. It was almost like the body had you could tell somebody had tried to dispose of the body in the water there. And anyway, they didn't secure the body properly, and the body kind of floated up. Well, it was a woman's body, right? And so that kind of it was someone who had been reported missing a couple of weeks earlier. And so automatically the police started searching for the spouse. Whether they were boyfriend or girlfriend or married, I don't know. But either way, they started searching for the spouse. And sure enough, they found him. One of the patrol cars called in. Patrol cars, that sounded so old school, but one of them called in and was like, yeah, we got the license plate. We think this might be him. At least this is his car. So they were like, okay, get him pulled over and let's see. They pulled him over. By the time the officers got to the car, he had already blown his head off. And maybe his head didn't actually leave his body, but he had an escape plan. He was not going to jail. He knew what he did. He knew they were going to catch him. And for him, he had the gun with him. The police pulled him over and he just blew his brains out before the police even got up to the front window of the car, the driver's seat. And so the escape plan, right? If you're not going to prison, and he had Pallas Athena, who is the master planner. And Stacy said they were doing drills for when the authorities show up. Some ran and were shot. Whoa, I didn't know this. Who shot them? Who was shooting them? Who the frick was shooting them? The Jim Jones people? Like his inner circle? They were killing people? What the hell? Yeah, I don't know what kind of drugs they were doing. I'm just saying. Nobody had to leave. People could leave if they wanted to. So the people that left only left because the Congress people were there and the representatives were there and the cameras. So other people in the cult killed them because they didn't drink the Kool-Aid or they didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid. And maybe the timeline wasn't all like at the same moment. Maybe the stories of people being shot finally got to the congressman's attention. I'm curious, where was the congressman from? Do you know? Like what state? I want to say California, but I could be wrong. Because I think he bopped around a little bit. It was their opportunity. Yeah, people in the cult. Absolutely. Holy shit. Over 900 people. It wasn't, imagine 900 people. You think hurricane, right? We think some natural effing disaster. Over 900 people, right? Oh my God. It's scary. Just freaky scary that people can easily be so persuaded and not see. It's really, really, really freaky. And he had you see a lot of stuff at 2 degrees in the chart, right? So that's all that desire shit. Remember, Venus, desire. Whenever you see the 2 degrees. Freaky, freaky, freaky shit. And the other thing too was when you have Aquarius, right? Can anyone tell me? Aquarius, second house cusp line, 13 degrees. 13 comes up. Aries. My way or the highway, right? Aries. And it's Aquarius, so that's Uranus, which is we want the freedom, we want the independence, but I'm going to be the authoritarian here, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm the authoritarian. That's the caution with Aquarius energy. When when the ultimatum is death, yeah. Putting somebody in jail because of their beliefs. When you're harming people, holding people against their will, yeah, that's a freaking problem. God, that's just frightening as hell. But such extreme energy. And yeah, the 13. 13 here, 13 here, 13 here. And even the white moon Lilith at number 11, Aquarius energy. Look at his Saturn, 23 degrees, a retrograde Saturn. 23 in his first house, conjunct his Vesta at 21. So when you back that up, that's that cardinal energy, and that all squares. That's all squaring all this stuff we got over here in Cardinal, which is Venus. And, Saturn is about the rules, the structure, the order, the government. We have regulations for these things. Well, it was squaring his Aries energy. It really cramped his goddamn style. Seriously. He had Jupiter and Saturn midpoint. And I'm trying to get you, there you go. So his rules, right? I'm the boss, but it's Scorpio energy, by the way, number 20 degree. And then Venus, my desires, and then Nessa, the Saturn and the Vesta in Capricorn squared that stress and tension. And his location, the first house, his appearance and his location. And so he solved that problem. He said, you know what? We don't like these rules. So they got the hell out of the country. Yeah. How many of us have said that in the last 3 years? You don't like the rules, get the hell out of the country. Like, these are the rules. Like, this is how shit works. There's lots of places that don't have rules. And that's like, yeah, where you can go and make up your own rules. You want to be the king? Go right on ahead. You can be the king. And that's kind of, yeah, Leo energy is the king. It says I'm the king. So Leo energy, anytime you see these degrees, Leo energy, 5, 17, and 29. His Juno was at 28, right? That 28 degree is also the degree of the public and feminine energy, by the way. 28 degree. Yeah. Partnerships. Whew. Wow. Just some really wild shit. Really wild shit. Over 900. God, I am still flipping. Why? I thought it was said 100. My brain is still, that's an, oh man. They investigated because of reports of forced labor and people being held against their will. He'd make married couples separate. Oh, there we go. That's in the chart. Absolutely. That feminine thing and sharing of spouses. He made married couples separate and have other spouses. What the? I just never. Anyway, I'm just glad I wasn't born with this chart. But the thing is, what's really kind of freaky too, an additional freaky thing. Look at, my brain just went backwards to what she just said. Making other couples separate, married couples separate, Aries, independence and freedom, married couples, South Node, release. We're ending that. We're letting go. The beliefs around that, making married couples separate and take other couples, basically. Okay. Yeah, more 13 degrees here too. Yeah, Aries. So y'all hear me say it in my videos all the time. That energy can take a long time to mature. Good gosh. Yeah. Too much. Too much. Too freaky. Did Heifers come back? Yeah, that is wow, isn't it? Can you imagine 900 people? That my brain, when I read the story last week, I must have just automatically been like, oh, that says 100 people. That can't be 900. I swear I thought it was 100, a little bit over 100. I'm flipping out over the 900. 900. God bless it. Yeah, this is the kind of chart where I'm like, okay, enough of him. But when you look at it, you're just like, I don't know. It could have gone a different way. Yeah, I think so. But I think a big problem was when so much of the child the child prophet, when that begins, when someone is told, like his mom really, really, really believed that he was like the next Christ, or he was Christ reincarnated, whatever the wording is. Even his Eris was at 2 degrees. Wow. His Hercules was at the Scorpio degree. God, this is getting freakier by the minute. But yeah, when you're really young and you're kind of groomed, right? You're kind of groomed for like this position and like who you are. Well, you start to believe it. You start to believe, oh yeah, I'm the Messiah. And that is because a long time ago, I did look at his chart before. And this was like when I first started studying charts. And, some of the common themes, some of the very common themes with a lot of these wacky kind of, whether they were serial killers or cult leaders, specifically like cult leaders. There was another one. The dude in Waco, what was his name? David or something? David something. Anyway, it was like kind of that same idea where they really felt like this kinship with Jesus, like that they were Christ, right? In some form or fashion. And so it's the super, I mean, yeah. How do you go from that to then killing people? Yeah, part of victory was even at 12 degrees. So for them, it was like there was victory in death because they would never be touched. They got to escape, or he got to escape. But those poor people then, if what you're saying, if that's what they found out, that these people basically were, if there were weapons, then they were definitely being kind of held against their will, it sounds like, for sure. He has kids that are still alive. Some of the if they would have gotten out of there, people would have talked. Divide and conquer. So maybe that was also another reason why he separated the spouses. Divide and conquer type of thing. Some of the followers who were leaving faked being dead at the tarmac. So they were like literally on the tarmac running for their lives and they were shot down. He has kids who are still alive. Wow. Koresh, that's who it is. David or Dave. Yeah. Yeah, I remember looking at his chart too, and I didn't draw it up for this week's, but it was just really the similarities that I saw where you had these really crazy killers. Because for some reason, I was studying the extremes. I was studying charts of people who did horrific shit, and then charts of people who were like these really awesome, like humanitarians and spiritual leaders. And it was just kind of super fascinating to look at to look at charts that could have gone either way. But the difference was one did not believe they were Christ. You follow? They didn't tell people, you pledge your allegiance to me. And that's the difference between a cult and a religion. Pledging your allegiance to that leader. That's the difference. Charles Manson. There you go. Another one. Yeah. Yeah, I won't be pulling his chart up because for some reason, when I pull up his chart, yeah. Freaky shit happens on my end over here. So I'm not messing with him. I'm just leaving him alone. I don't want his energy near me. I'm not dealing with his energy. Like, no, thank you. Never again. My mistake. I don't know what it is. And I can't even remember his chart, but I'm just going to leave it alone. Leaving it the hell alone. So were you guys able to hear? I know I got some people's responses, and there might have been more. Well, I was talking to Christy, some of those clear EVP'S. Does anybody else have any stories they want to share? Yeah, it's just too freaky. I don't need that. I just can't believe he has kids who are still alive. I didn't even look into that part of it. And I'm wondering, the kids that are still alive, are there like multiple different mothers? Like, were there multiple pregnant women and shit? Jeez. This is bringing up a whole lot of shit because I'm just thinking about in America right now and, women who being impregnated and not by choice. And yeah, anyway. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't need any more information about him. Leave it alone. Yeah. I don't need any. Yeah, that makes it too easy. Too easy. Um, but just freaky, freaky, freaky. Freaky, freaky, freaky. God, 900 people. So, so, so scary. Yeah, David Koresh. Um, so his was, she said to look at Charles Manson. I'm not doing it. I've already done it once before. And so, yeah, yeah, thank you. It's just to not bringing that in, especially since I'm feeling on the drained and tired side. So, Stacy, along with you, you mentioned that you were like sleeping, and I kind of started the live tonight talking about, is anybody feeling the sun up in the sky squaring Pluto? Right, the sun's at 27, going on 28 in cardinal energy, Libra, and Pluto's at 29 in Capricorn. So there's that square. And then we've got Mars at 24 squaring the Neptune. I'm sorry, trining Neptune. Well, Neptune, right? The effect with Neptune and Mars mixing them together, it can make you sleepy and dreamy and make you want to just like watch movies and just chill and escape, use substances, right? That's Mars and Neptune combination, even in a trine. And I notice I always feel that as soon as Neptune starts connecting with Mars, whether it's Neptune and my Mars or the Mars in the sky within, like I feel cold. You know how the ocean water, like I can feel the cold, especially when I go to lay down. Like all of a sudden, my arms are cold, my legs and my feet are freezing, and I'm just like, even if it's like right now where it's not so cold out. I think we're in the 60s right now, maybe. Yeah, because for me and my body, whenever I feel tired, like immediately I feel cold. Like that's my first, like, okay, you're tired because I feel cold overcome my body. Uh wow, do we have charts and shit? That's fascinating. Do we have names and charts and dates and shit? Have you that would be fascinating. The 5 suspects that were I never knew there were 5 suspects that were suspected to be Jack the Ripper. And see who most likely was the one. Never, and that's a great idea. Jones had 9 kids, some were adopted. I remember reading that part that he had adopted some kids. Can you believe that shit? He just wanted a group. He just wanted a group and he needed a choir. He needed someone to preach to and someone to worship him. And um yeah, that makes me think of some other folks that I know. It wasn't really about having children and having a family. When you think family, right? It's really, yeah, for some people it's just that group energy and people that you can have control over. And although he did have that Leo energy, and Leo is family, 5 degrees is Leo, having children. It sure is. So, Christy, I don't know who those people are. Is there actual digits on that? Or do you know the names? Yeah, Scorpio, Sun, Aquarius, Moon. Yeah. David Koresh. No, thank you. Oh, shit. Yeah. So in case in case you guys didn't catch it, I know I started talking about the video, and then I think I went right into Dennis, saying that Dennis is still in rehab. Um, the Halloween's coming up, right? Yeah, I think we're a week out or something. So the video that went up tonight, right before the live, um, there is some information in there about that timeline that I would want to know about. I'm always kind of, I guess, hyper aware, I think, of Halloween time, just because it's a fun time. It's time for kids to have a good time, for people to, be in costumes and dress up. But because, especially with Mars in Cancer energy, and it's, sometimes that can go either way. There's just some freaky stuff. She's got names, folks. Really? Okay, let me screenshot this shit because I will look these up. Wow. I wonder if anybody's ever done that. Let me do some digging. Well, that's why I'll do the screenshot too, because I'm not, it's not your job, but yeah, if you're into it and you want to do it, be my guest. But I will also take these down. Let me. I didn't know it was going to make that noise, but that's okay as long as the screenshot worked. Oh, good, we got it. Oh, how funny. The face I made when I did that screenshot, that's hilarious. So, has anybody here ever been to table tipping or a seance? And they're not the same thing, by the way. Has anybody here been to either one of those things? And maybe the word seance is a little old school, but it's kind of sort of pretty much what you think, what it sounds like. Okay, for right now, I'm going to go like that. And I pray to God it doesn't disappear. Sometimes my shit disappears. I'm always in this. Fairy there, you've been to a seance? Really? Do you have a seance story since you were there? Christy said, I did the Ouija board. Christy, you probably got a good Ouija board story, I'm sure. I've been to both. A seance, I've done the table tipping, I've done the Ouija board. I would, if you guys have some of those stories, it might be cool to see that. Yeah, I totally agree. It would be very cool. I'm I love using astrology to figure out mysteries. Like, I love that. I freaking love that. She's not here now. Her life has been kind of like turned upside down. But we had a person, and she allowed me to use her story, so it's okay to talk about it. But she was a twin, and I think she's about my age now, right? Well, her twin had died. Her twin was a grown adult when she died, but this was probably, gosh, I think this might have been 10 or 15 years ago, maybe even, I don't know. Anyway, her twin died, and she always felt that it was a very suspect situation with the twin's death. And so we pulled up her twin's chart, and we pulled up the time of death, and we did some investigating, because she really felt that the reason for the twins' death, which, by the way, was a drug overdose, that was confirmed by the coroner, but there were physical things where she was just like, okay, there was some mischievous stuff going on. There was something kind of suspicious that was happening, because there were things that were done that were out of the ordinary. So we had looked at her chart to kind of see, like charts of the moment and charts that led up to it, to see if her death really, if there was another person involved, because that's what she felt. She really felt that her twin wasn't alone when she died. that somebody else was part of it, and because things were just done very different. And she knew that her twin was a drug user. She was very familiar with her habits. She was very familiar with where she would shoot up, literally, like in her body. We got Taffy at the door. So it was really interesting. So just a Ouija board? No, just a Ouija board. It was a dud. I have a Ouija story. Used a spirit board and pendulum. Had a candle go out in a windowless room. So who else was there in that windowless room? Did someone blow it out? Fairy there says I have a Ouija story. Well, do you want to share it? And just so that everybody else understands, your stories don't have to be as great. I know it's hard to follow Christy's EVPs. Like, holy shit. I mean, and I did ghost hunting, right? And her EVPs were phenomenal. And I've heard some good EVPs, but a few of those in there, more than one, right? A few of those in there were like the best I've ever heard. Because here I am hearing it. I'm not even right there. And I could hear the shit. It was like, holy crap. I could tell male or female, right? Which is phenomenal. And I could hear the clarity of some of those. Let me go let this little rugrat in. Hold on one second. Oh, good. Fairy there is coming on to give us a thingamajig on her story. So let's get her in here. Okay,
Hello.
Fairy there. Let me get Taffy for a second. What you doing? You have a ghost story, Taffy? Huh? You got a ghost story? Huh? Are you going to share a ghost story with us? Are you coming up? Come on, it's okay. Okay, Taffy's like, I'm coming for Fairy there's ghost story.
Hi, Taffy.
Taffy, she said hello. Stay away from the candle. She
Yes,
always wants
please.
to go right to the light. Let me move some
Burnt
shit
fur does
around.
not smell good.
Huh?
Burnt fur does not smell good.
Taffy.
Just stay away.
Yeah. You stay right here. Okay. All right. Are you ready to hear a story? All right. We're ready. So you
Okay,
were playing with the Ouija board? Were you by yourself?
No, this starts when I was 19 and I'm living downtown, almost San Antonio, in an old section of town where I can hear the zoo. I can hear the lions and the elephants at night when my
Okay.
windows are open.
Okay.
And a lot of people would come over to my house because it was like in the center of town. And
Yeah.
at night I was a waitress. And so I was up late at night. And so people would end up at my house and we all started talking about paranormal experiences and this and that. And somebody said, well, I've got my Ouija board downstairs. They lived downstairs and they went and got it. And nobody but me and this one other person wanted to even try. So we got on there and it worked. And something started talking to us and we started asking it questions. And it said it was a member of this Indian tribe that used to live in that area of town. And it told us some stories about some blackjack oaks and their tribe and a couple other things. And we thought, well, that was cool, but that was it. And we said, well, thank you for talking to us and goodbye. And
How long did that go on for?
well, that was just the first time.
I know, but that communication with all that
Um,
back and forth in the stories, like how long were y'all at it?
Probably for an hour and a half or 2 hours. We were all
Yeah, I was just gonna
fascinated. It
say,
was a group
wow.
of maybe 10 people, and everybody was asking questions.
So
And
did
it was
you
answering.
so there was only 2 of you though with the hands
Only
on?
2 of us on the board. Yeah.
And so let me ask you, because I don't know. To me, the Ouija board, like, did you feel like the other person might have been kind of nudging it a little or whatever?
Not at that time. And it was pretty much it was random people at first would do it with me. And that first time, I don't even remember exactly who it was.
Yeah.
But and
She's
we'd both be like, but I do remember both of us. Are you pushing it? No, you are. No, I'm not.
So you
You
both
know.
were freaking out.
Yeah. And then after that night, um, somebody said, well, I was bored in class the other day, so I went to the library at San Antonio College, and I did a little research. And here's what I found. And he plops the book down, and here's this obscure name of the tribe, and that was it. It was even spelled right.
Holy shit.
And they were involved with, they always lived around Blackjack Oaks at the river, and some other, everything they told us was true.
Okay,
And
so let me
so
ask you, did you say it was the other person or you that went to the college and found that information?
somebody who was not even on the Ouija board, somebody who was in the group that was curious.
Oh, got you. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, wow, wow.
And eventually we do this again and again, and
I bet.
apparently it's
She
giving
starts
us
charging people to get in.
what seems like good information. We never do anything personal at this time. It's all, we're just fascinated with the history and what it's telling us. And we're thinking, this sounds so, and none of us had ever heard of these tribes or anything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
as far as we know, we're getting legitimate communications.
Uh-huh.
But eventually I graduate SAC and I have to move on to real college
Yeah.
up in New Braunfels or San Marcos. And we
Mhm.
move up there, and there's only this one friend who's willing to do it up there. It's myself, my future husband, his best friend, and another friend from their childhood. And the other friend from childhood is willing to do the board, and we do it. And it starts telling us things about the area in San Marcos, which was all pretty cool. And then a few weeks later, it started. Well, no, I think it was more like a few months later. It started talking about politics. I
It
think this
started
was when
talking about
Reagan was.
politics?
It started talking about politics. And this is
Really?
about when I start thinking, you must be pushing it. I'm thinking of the other guy. You have to be
Right,
pushing the project at this point.
right.
It eventually tells us, it tells us that the guy who's pushing the planchette on my other side is going to be president someday, and I'm going to be his, um, oh, what's the guy who directs the office? Not vice president, the guy in the little chamber next to it that controls all the people that see the president.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, the chief of staffs.
Yeah, the chief of staff.
Mhm.
And some other things in it. It starts telling us how we need to start organizing to get this done. And I threw the planchette to the other side of the room, and somebody had been keeping like a transcript, writing things down. I picked up the whole stack of things and I threw them away and said, I know you're pushing the planchette now.
Yeah. That's not fun when someone abuses it.
No, I was quite sure. And no,
But at least you put it all together and you were just like, "Get the hell out of here.
yeah.
Take your ass and get out, damn it."
Well, up until we moved up to San Marcos, I think what we were getting was probably genuine. But
Yeah,
then we got up to San Marcos and it was just this one guy, and he was, yeah,
and
he
you
was
saw the
he was
difference.
just playing. He was playing us.
Yeah, he was having fun with it. He
Yeah.
was just having fun, and that's the part about the Ouija board where I'm just like, yeah, you got it. If there could be somebody, right, the other person kind of messing around and manipulating it, and then it's just like,
And there's no way to tell. So yeah, that got dropped and I've never done the Ouija board again.
well, right, how the hell you can't prove, right?
And I can't do it by myself. I can't make the planchette move by myself. So yeah.
Well, at least not that you know of.
Yeah, I don't want to try. That would take a lot of wine, I think.
A lot of lying, did you say?
Wine.
Oh, a lot of wine. There you go.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of wine, Tappy. Did you hear that? Or maybe some Tappy treats. That's too damn funny. Oh my god. Um wow. That's
So my
really cool.
impression is that the Ouija board, there is something there, but you can not define it, and you can't put your finger on it, and you can't prove a thing.
Yeah, I think I think you know, I think some of the way that it's set up, I think it makes it easier in some way, although I'm not sure how exactly, for the other side to communicate, because I think everyone assumes once we let go of shed the body, that we're on the other side and we know how communications work. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we know how
Yeah.
communications work, but I don't think it's like that for everybody. But the Ouija board would have to use, well, I shouldn't say have to, I shouldn't speak in definites, but normally it's like, normally it's easier. I'm watching this kitty cat as she's trying to always keep sniffing my candle over here, and she has whiskers. Normally it's easier for them to manipulate like electrical and batteries and stuff like that. So the Ouija board, there's no electricity involved in it. Do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
nothing electrical. So I'm always just like, that's the part that goes against what the teaching is. So that part, I don't know. That part of it doesn't make sense. It's not you know, an easy thing. So I don't know. That doesn't mean it doesn't make it legit, right?
Well, if everything is a vibration, wouldn't there be a vibration that might make the Ouija board work?
Well, I agree. I just think it would take more experienced. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not about having more experience. I don't know.
Maybe it's about being able to suspend your disbelief enough to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of like watching a
Maybe.
good movie, a horror movie. You have to be able to suspend that disbelief, or you're just going to laugh through the whole thing.
This is true. Unless, of course, you're watching a horror story that really happened. And we're going to talk about that next week.
Oh, all right. I'm all
Yeah.
ears.
Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about it next week. We're going to talk about a horror story that really happened. And it was actually documented by the church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 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 Which is kind of like, holy shit.
Yeah.
At least I think it's holy shit.
When they admit something, yeah, it is.
Yeah, especially when they have to call priests in to do an exorcist. Like, they don't take that shit lightly at all.
No.
That they don't play around with that. They don't just automatically send somebody out. Matter of fact, they usually delay, because then over time they don't hear from the people anymore, because most of the people are either, on drugs or, whatever the situation is. And then it just kind of goes away. But after multiple tries and after multiple times of, things consistently happening and the medical field getting involved, and shit's still happening, and there's no medical explanation, science can't aid in any way, right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes like, okay, like, these people are serious. They have
Yes.
doctors contacting us, like, they're serious. And so all this shit happened. So it really adds to the validity of the event and of the story and of the documentation. At least in my mind, it does. Absolutely does. But we're going to save that one for next week, because there's kind of an article involved where it's not just my information, and then there's a chart to look at, and then there's the story that people, or the movie people have heard of and watched, and then the previous story before it became a movie, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, to me, it's the shit that really happens that is a little bit more scarier,
Yes.
especially when there's physical evidence and there's witnesses to those physical things that actually happened. It's really
Yeah.
freaky. It's really freaky.
We live in a
Super
freaky
freaky.
world.
Well, going to what you said about, if everything is a vibration, like, shit can happen. And I agree. I totally agree. It can happen anywhere, anytime, any place, damn it.
Exactly. Until we learn to control the vibration.
Yeah, and I think our intentions are a big part of it, like controlling our desire and our intent and our will. I think that's part of it too. Because I think
Yeah,
sometimes shit happens and it kind of gets beyond our control, because we don't
Well, each
kind
one
of
of
have.
those things you mentioned, they each have their own vibration.
Yeah. But when you look at the charts of these crazy people that we've seen, that desire energy, that Venus shit, like you have you seen Hitler's chart when we looked at Hitler's chart that one time? Oh my
No.
God. Yeah, the crazy desire, the Venus energy. Yes. And the Libra energy too. Out of control. It's
Uh-oh.
just that mixture. And Taurus and Libra are both Venus ruled.
Yes.
So there's that beautiful, pleasant side of Venus where she can be all wonderful and want to bring harmony and peace and bring gifts. Yeah, Taffy, you know about
And
Venus,
the
huh?
other half that's an axe murderer.
Yeah, when Venus goes dark, right?
Uh-huh.
And the extreme and the crazy stuff. And oh my God. And it's just too much. It's too much and it's crazy. So Star Moon, who is the Star Moon person? The Star Moon's like, I'm back. I had to jump off for dinner. Star Moon, where are you watching from? I don't think I asked you, or maybe I did another time. I have no idea.
Hawaii or Alaska.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm guessing
Oh, because they
if
jumped
it's
off for
dinner
dinner?
time there. Yeah,
Well, shit,
because
I
it's
don't know. My
almost
neighbors, they
midnight.
eat it. They're out there barbecuing sometimes at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm just like, okay.
Wow.
Well, they're a young family. You know, they got kids and,
Yeah.
you know,
I know I'm getting old. I'm done eating by 5.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm over the food by then.
That's how you know you're old when you like you've already had dinner and it's 6 o'clock and you're ready for bed by 7.
You had your glass of wine and you're snoring. Yeah.
Yes. Although right now we don't need any wine and it's easy to snore now. That's one thing for sure. I know when I go and lay down, like I'm out now. This freaking,
Yes.
I mean, do you feel it? Do you feel the sun and the square with the Pluto and the Mars with the trine with the Neptune? Oh,
I
I'm
don't
just,
I don't know if I have or not. I was sick last week
oh, right,
and
right. That's
I
right.
know
You said
this
you were
week
sick.
I'm feeling better and I finally went out and got a few things done.
Well,
Oh,
for
I
me
went to
too,
this.
last week was difficult.
I did have a weird time at the senior center. They said the one here will give you free lunch Monday through Friday, but you have to go once a year to a nutrition meeting. So I went to this nutrition meeting and it was a little bit weird. And she started talking about how, okay, seniors, you better all calm down now. And if you crowd up, because they give away a box of vegetables and stuff. And she
Okay.
was talking about how we can't have any more of that contentious stuff in the lineup. You've got to be orderly and come up when I call
Oh,
you. And in other words, they've
wow.
been having some trouble with the seniors when they
Seniors were getting a
collect their
little out of
vegetables.
hand.
Yes.
They were like pushing each other out of line and shit or stabbing each other with their forks. Like what was going on?
I think they were pushing each other out of the way.
Holy shit.
And then I had not been back for a week. I had gone a week before last and did a watercolor lesson and I got sick. That's where I got sick. And so I came back and I was sitting at this table and this lady walks up and says, "Oh, do you mind if I sit here at the empty chair?" And everybody said, "Oh, no problem." And she sits down and goes, "Oh, thank you. It's nice to sit down. I've been sick all week."
Oh, Lord.
I just quietly got up and went to
And
the back of
left.
the room.
Like, thanks. I just got done being sick. I do not need to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
all
just
right.
went to
Next
the
week,
back
walk
of
in
the
with a
room.
mask on. Everybody will leave.
Yeah,
I'm
there was
just
only
saying.
2 people in this room of 150 people with masks. Only 2 people.
I'm just saying. Most of them will leave because God forbid you wear a mask. How dare you wear a goddamn mask?
Yeah.
Just saying. It's like, dude, does my mask hurt you? No. Don't worry about it. It's my body. People
Exactly.
get so pissed. It's like, what the hell is that about?
Well, I had
What
a good
is
excuse. I would just say, "I'm sorry, my husband has stage 4 lung cancer right now, and I'm going to wear a mask everywhere I go." And that would shut most people up.
Yeah, you're right about that. That certainly would. Um, damn, there was something else I was going to ask you about that I forgot to ask you the first time. Shit, I can't remember what it was. Damn, damn, damn. Well,
I don't
oh,
know.
I know what I was going to ask you. So the week before, not last week, but the week before, you were all concerned, remember, about the eclipse?
Hmm.
Was there an event?
Um,
I'm
one
not
of
asking you to give us the details, but you wanted to know like what was going to happen or
a
whatever.
very small blip. I don't even know if that would be
Oh no, that's
pertaining to
fine.
it.
That's fine because it didn't. Right, right. It didn't look like anything major, and that's just basically what I'm asking you. Was there
Yeah, well,
something?
my oldest son came to me and said that he's not sure that he wants to move in with us, and we moved because we have so many dogs and he has a cat.
Okay, okay,
We'll figure it out.
gotcha. So okay, but it made sense with the astrology, the domestic stuff, and that
Yeah,
lines up with it. Okay,
yeah.
all right. Well then, so I would say that your chart is right because it worked out.
So far, yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard for anything big to happen when I'm staying at home the whole time because I was mostly sick. But yeah,
Yeah, but you were just really concerned because you had what was it? Your sun was at the degree of the eclipse?
no,
There was
yes, my
something.
son and my ascendant, both of them right there,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
at 3 degrees my north node.
Yeah, you had all that. You've got so much shit in Libra. I'm sitting here talking all this shit about Libra energy, and you got so much Libra in your chart.
I know it's a little loaded over there,
But hey, I'm just showing you
but
charts of lunatic people.
yeah,
This is
hey,
just
I've
what
had
their
moments of
charts are.
lunacy.
At
I
least,
have had many moments of lunacy, so I can relate.
she said I can relate. All right. Well, I'm glad you can relate, and thank you for sharing your stories, and thank you for the update on how the eclipse turned out for you. It was a non-event, basically.
Yeah, it must have been like you said, most everything had already happened.
Well, that's because you have so much stuff there, right? Like this all began a long time ago for you, where you.
Right.
I mean, ever since you came to the channel, you started talking about this.
Yes.
That's what you were that was part of your plan. That's what you were trying to do. This little one has decided to lay down. Thank God she's not eating the candle, but she's now laid down all comfy here.
Aw,
Yeah, she's all comfy cozy. she's at least she's being a good girl, not eating the candle.
good.
But yeah, so stuff may happen later. It doesn't have to mean that it's major stuff, but because eclipses have a duration to them, she's like, why are you going here, G? Only because when we look up an eclipse and we look up the duration of the eclipse, we always just have to kind of keep in mind the eclipse came and went, but there still might be things which is just more like a continuation of this event. And you said your son said, hey, I'm not sure I can do this or that. And you were like, well, we'll figure something out, right?
Yeah,
And so the cohabitation thing, like, yeah, the one pet thing, I'm pretty sure y'all can figure something out.
exactly.
I mean, yeah, y'all can figure something out to make it doable. And the duration of that particular eclipse. So was that the October 2nd one?
Yes, which was right on my solar return.
Okay, so that one actually has a pretty long duration. Holy shit. Okay, got a duration of 6 years.
What?
6 years. Yeah, that's long. I haven't seen one that long before. Normally they're like 3 or 4, but this one
I
actually
can't move houses for 6 years.
Oh no, it doesn't mean it's not saying what you can or can't do. It's just simply stating that you'll probably be because it's Libra and energy. So the different partnerships, the bobbing and the weaving, the in and out, the okay, this partnership works, this one doesn't, or whatever the hell. There might be, just different people coming in and out within those partnerships and things. Remember the example I gave you?
No.
of something that might come up because you're in a house of adults, and there might be some adults that want to, because the other adults aren't married, and so there might be some adults that want to bring some
Yes.
people home. There might be
Yes.
shit like that. Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just
I look
always just to
forward to
keep.
that happening. Because
You
that would
said
mean
you're
they
looking
found a partner.
forward.
Yeah, that would mean they found a partner.
Oh, okay. Well, then good. Great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Then great. Then you're all happy about that. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I try to go with the flow.
And
So
that's a really a good example too, because then it's that partnership energy, which would mean if your son has a partner, then not the dynamics of that is very, very personal because, well, then you're like the mother-in-law type thing, right?
right.
Yeah. So you see the partnerships and how it makes sense.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And how if somebody does find somebody, then well, for sure, there's that tweaking and there's that learning the different nuances within a relationship and different people and what, just how to get along, how to make shit work.
Exactly.
All right. I think we're all done.
Thank you. It was fun
You
tonight.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I got well and got to come.
Yeah, me too. Love the stories. Love the stories.
Oh, thank you. It was
Love
fun
the
to tell
stories.
them.
They
I've
help me
never
jog
told
my
anybody
memory.
I've never told anybody the auto writing one before, or the EVP one.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's kind of I also well for next week, you might not have an answer to this, but if you do, we'll discuss it next week. If you had ever been to the haunted railroad tracks.
Yes, I have.
All right. So next week you can, if you had an experience, whatever that was, you can share because I also had an experience there. And then we can kind of swap stories and see. I just want to see.
Okay.
But
Sounds
we'll
fun.
pick that up next week. And then I don't know because I'm not native from there, so I don't know the history behind it. But I had cousins who lived there and would tell us their version of what that was all about. But you can
I
kind
know
of tell the backstory.
no alternative versions. Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever if you know, because we'll pick up there next week. In addition to some other spooky events, hopefully. More
Yeah.
spooky stories,
Fantastic.
bring them. All right,
Oh,
fair there, thank
I've still
you.
got some. Yeah.
Oh, you have more? Okay, well, get them all together, get them ready. It's
Okay.
spooky season, it's the time.
Okay. Stay spooky, everybody. We'll see you
Yes,
later.
right? Stay spooky,
Okay.
stay safe.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right, bye-bye, thank you. I got kitty cat hair all over the place floating around in here. Taffy, she's got the kitty cat butt in the air. Where are you going? Where are you going? She's like, I'm out of here. I don't know what's going on with my phone. It's doing some weird shit. Taffy might have been. Did ever. Yeah. So, Christy, what the hell is a spirit board if that's not a Ouija board? Is a spirit board different than a Ouija board? I'm reading this right now. I'm just seeing that. Plumbing. What's going on with plumbing? God, that's a nightmare within itself right there. For real. No, and that was, wait a minute, what happened? I had a leak. Stacy said, I had a leak with my kitchen sink. For the eclipse? Or you're just saying in general you had a leak with your kitchen sink? So, plumbing issues never fun. No, never fun. No, and that was the full moon, actually. I was just going to say a full moon was a couple days ago. Hold on a second. Oh. She's trying to mess up with her box, and her box was moved. The one that her and Zoe ripped the shit out of because they were ripping the shit out of it. It's the same concept of a Ouija board, but use a pendulum to navigate it. So what do you use for a board? Oh, it's based on a semicircle, half a circle, and it's a one-person user. Yeah, I never heard of that. Yeah. Star Moon, did you tell us where you were watching from? I was just curious. You don't have to. I mean, I like don't want your home address or anything. Just saying. Yeah, we usually ask people. So, Star Moon, I missed your story. Did you want next week? Obviously not tonight because I'm about to end now. But Star Moon, I'm just seeing a comment you made. I moved about 3 years ago and I saw a woman with a blue polka dot dress. It was so clear from the 20s. And in my grandparents' house, I would hear footsteps walking up to my bedroom door. Ooh, you got some good stories, Star Moon. And then walk away back and forth a few times at night. Ooh. Ooh. This cat is trying to rip the shit out of this box. I don't know if you can hear her. What are you doing? She's on her hind legs, standing up and everything. Taffy normally never does that. Zoe, yeah, all the time, but not Taffy. She's pissed. She is pissed. All right, guys. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. All right, so we are going to end it, and we will be back next week, 9:30 Saturday night. It's every Saturday at night at 9:30 Central Time Zone, depending upon where you live in the world. And we'll be here with the Spooky Night Live in the Star Room, trying to talk and discuss within the holiday season of paranormal and the unexplainable. And yeah, we had some good stories. And I don't know about y'all, but I absolutely loved both and all of the EVP stuff. Absolutely loved it. I'm going to end because this cat is literally not happy. She's tearing shit up and her claws are like this freaking long. Yes. You have a good week too. Thank you everyone who participated. Thank you everybody who joined in to watch. And if you got a story, and it doesn't have to be like fantastical. I know it's intimidating when you hear some of these stories. I know, which is, I think some of my stories are a little over the top and not meant to be over the top. It's just, I think some of them aren't. So I kind of don't want to share them for that reason. I think other people might be like, I don't know, either I make the shit up or I don't know. And so I just would be like, that's okay. I don't have, it's not that important for me. So with that said, we're done. We're ending it. Taffy's mad and I got to go. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay calm. Yeah. Stay calm and carry on. Stay spooky. Bye-bye.